This is ABC15 Mornings.
All right, just about 6 o'clock now on a Wednesday. Thanks for waking up to ABC 15 Mornings. Nick Saletti here in studio. Kaylee O'Kelly social distancing from the newsroom this morning. Hey, Kaylee.
Hi. Yeah, temperature's actually not too shabby when you think about temps in the upper 80s anyway. I know it's early, but we're looking at the glass half full for you. We do want to get you your most accurate forecast with our Iris Hermosillo this morning.
Hey, good morning. Let's talk about it. As we start off by looking at desert Doppler radar, certainly a different picture than what we've woken up to the last few days. Less cloud cover here in the valley, some showers, but they're east of the Phoenix area, out in Gila County and near the White Mountains. So this morning, you're going to walk out the door to mostly clear skies, temperatures in the 80s, but you're also going to feel some higher humidity as we get a little bit more monsoon moisture in our state. It is dry in the valley with a temperature of 88 degrees at Phoenix Sky Harbor, 84 in Chandler, 88 in Mesa, and in the West Valley, where we've seen a little more clearing, some spots down into the low 80s like Goodyear at 81 degrees, 85 right now in Glendale. Today is still going to be hot, so just be mindful of that as you get out the door. Our temperatures hit the triple digits by around midday, and then our high tops out at 107. That humidity is sticking around, and we've got a 10% chance for storms today. It's not very high today, but that will change tomorrow. I'm going to break down that most accurate storm forecast for you in just a little bit. But for now, I want to send it over to Chelsea Davis, who's watching our morning commute.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Iris. Good morning to you. And yes, I'm watching these accident log group traffic maps here. And the only issue we have really is just a heads up that there's going to be some construction on I-17 and the southbound direction at Dunlap. It's just going to block the off ramp, and that's going to last 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then it'll be over. Peoria and Northern could be other options if you need to get by. We haven't seen any big slowdowns associated with this the last couple days. North stretch right now looking green. Same story from the west side of town. I-17 has a couple breaks around the Durango curve, but I-10 is clear, and East Valley Freeway showing green conditions even into and out of Maricopa. Our longest desert drive time right now is on I-17, 22 minutes to go southbound from Loop 101 down to the Stack.
Chelsea, thank you. We're staying on top of some breaking news from overnight. A stolen vehicle stopped and there was a child inside. We're still working to get the details from DPS, but we know the vehicle crashed near the I-10 and Loop 202 transition and the driver ran off. There was a child in the back seat, but from what we can tell, does not appear to have any injuries, thankfully. Also happening early this morning, a crash involving a Phoenix police cruiser. This is near 12th Avenue and Grand. You can see the vehicle there flipped on its side. We don't know yet if anyone was injured, but as soon as we can get an update from officers, we'll pass that along.
Well, by the end of the week, Governor Doug Ducey is expected to make an announcement about our schools, and it is a decision hundreds of thousands of people here in Arizona are waiting to hear right now. In-person learning cannot start until after August 17th, but we've seen several districts choosing to stay online until September or even middle of October. Our John Genovese live for us this morning. And John, some school leaders want more criteria before they even think about opening doors.
Yeah, and Kaylee, there is not a lot of time left to put a plan in place. As you mentioned, Governor Doug Ducey already pushing back the start of in-person instruction until at least August 17th, but still, there are a lot of parents and school officials who have concerns and are just simply confused about all this. Now, the Arizona School Boards Association sent a letter to the governor outlining what exactly they're asking for. They represent more than 240 public school districts statewide. Now, keep in mind, as you said, some districts have already adjusted their calendars and set dates beyond August 17th to resume in-person classes, and many are starting earlier online. Now, in that letter, the School Boards Association asking the governor for data to determine when schools reopen and not simply a date. They want lower case trajectories and a drop in positive test results to be factored into that decision. They want widespread testing with timely results, the authority for school officials to determine social distancing on campus, and specific procedures for what to do if there is a positive COVID-19 case on campus. State School Superintendent Kathy Hoffman also echoing those demands last night, saying she too wants data to be the deciding factor in all this, and she wants the governor to guarantee full funding for distance or online learning. Now, we know the White House is pushing for schools to reopen in-person instruction this fall across the country, and so far, again, the governor has has not weighed in on any of these plans beyond that August 17th date. We are expecting him to say something more at some point this week. Historically, he does hold briefings on Thursdays, guys, so we'll certainly be watching to see if he does that again tomorrow and what exactly he has to say.
Yeah, all eyes on the governor there on that big decision. John Genovese reporting live for us. John, thank you. Another day of coronavirus testing events just kicking off this morning. The state continuing its surge testing at South Mountain Park and Maryvale High School in Phoenix. This is a live look now at Maryvale. We've seen shorter wait times at these free testing sites, but you do have to pre-register for an appointment online. The ABC15 investigators discovered the state health department's website was missing registration information in Spanish. The health department responding within an hour to try to fix the issue.
Not everybody in these areas has, Wi-Fi and cell phones, and so we're just trying to get the messaging out as best as we can.
And these sites do have staff members who speak Spanish. The events are scheduled to continue for 7 more days. This is where Arizona stands right now when it comes to the coronavirus. More than 148,000 confirmed cases so far. 134 more deaths were reported yesterday, which is the second highest added, and the third time this month the reported number of deaths has been higher than 100. By the end of the week, the total amount of deaths is likely to exceed 3,000 in our state. At the same time, we're seeing the number of coronavirus patients in hospitals start to decline a little bit. So far in July, about 16% of tests are coming back positive.
A longtime swim coach at Chandler High School has passed away from COVID-19. Kerry Crosswhite started having symptoms last month. He was hospitalized and he was eventually put on a ventilator. Crosswhite, a fixture on the Chandler High School campus for nearly 2 decades. The kids there loved him. He was also well known for playing the bagpipes in the Tempe Police Pipe Band. Police Chief Sylvia Moore posting this tribute on Twitter. He was 61 years old.
More than 1,000 lives lost in the U.S. to the coronavirus in the last 24 hours. And a new report from the CDC revealing the number of infections in the country is likely much higher than what's been reported. ABC's Andrew Dimbert brings us the latest now from Washington.
This morning, the latest numbers on coronavirus continue to show a steady surge. Hospitalizations are up in 40 states, the South looking like the Northeast back in April. In California, the number of confirmed cases is likely to surpass New York. And now an alarming new report from the CDC says the number of people infected in the first months of the pandemic could be 10 times higher than previously predicted. Dr. Anthony Fauci on CNN pushing for continued safety guidelines.
Universal wearing of masks, close the bars, stay physically distant, wash your hands. The really fundamental things. It's not rocket science.
Florida, another U.S. hotspot where hospitals are being pushed beyond capacity. Baptist Health in Miami has just 1 ICU bed left.
Every day it's coming into more patients and they're very sick.
Meanwhile, at the White House, in his first coronavirus briefing since April, President Trump, who has downplayed the virus for weeks, now acknowledging the severity of the pandemic.
It will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better.
While his likely opponent in November, Joe Biden, hitting Trump hard.
He's basically waved the white flag. He said, I'm not responsible. I don't have to do anything.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says he was not invited to Trump's briefing and hasn't spoken to the president since last week. Fauci also brushed off the president's recent remarks when he called Fauci an alarmist.
I consider myself more a realist than an alarmist.
Now, all of this is taking place while the debate to reopen schools rages on. In Florida, some parents and teachers are suing the governor to keep campuses closed, while here in D.C., some of the school districts are joining others around the country and switching to all virtual learning. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Andrew Dimbert, thank you for that. Joe Biden has unveiled a new part of his economic recovery plan to help working families. It includes an $8,000 tax credit to low and middle income families to help pay for child care, 3 million new jobs in the areas of caregiving and education, and expanding access to long-term care for elderly and disabled Americans. The entire initiative would cost $775 billion over the next 10 years. The campaign has not specified yet how they plan to fully finance this, but one aspect will be rolling back tax breaks for certain real estate investors.
As a parent, it's hard to imagine what you would even be thinking as something like this unfolded. Two Valley first responders, hailed as heroes right now, racing into a burning home to save children who were trapped inside. Buckeye Assistant Police Chief Bob Sanders and Deputy Fire Chief Dave Dubois responding to that home there. You can see all that smoke. This was yesterday morning. The panicked family telling them two of their kids were still stuck inside. And we talked with a neighbor who watched these daring rescues.
Straight in to the house that was aflame and ablaze, and come running right back out with a child, and then another fighter in plain clothes run straight in and come back with another kid.
Yeah, we run out, they run in. We are so lucky to have our first responders. Sanders has been a police officer 28 years. Deputy Chief Dubois, a few months from retirement. And we thank you both for your service and for your sacrifice.
Next on ABC15 Mornings, could we see a dust storm or some rain this week? Iris working on that most accurate forecast as the monsoon is cranking back up this week.
And a doctor and her entire family test positive for COVID-19. How she says treating her loved ones at home helps her better understand her patients also fighting the coronavirus. I'll break that down and have her unique story coming up.
Let's get to your top stories at 6:13. Police in Chicago investigating an apparent ambush shooting outside of a funeral home there. 14 people were shot. Their injuries ranging from serious to critical. A person of interest is in custody this morning, but police say right now the number of shooters is unknown. Starting today, Americans can no longer visit the Bahamas due to a rising number of coronavirus cases. International flights will not be permitted to enter the borders, with an exception for flights from Canada, the UK, and the EU. The Bahamas has less than 200 confirmed cases. The NFL is scrapping preseason and reducing the size of training camp rosters. This is part of an agreement with the Players Association as the league seeks to reduce COVID-19 risks. Some players are already reporting, but training camps officially start next week.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
All right, thanks so much, Nick. I'm watching the Accident Law Group traffic maps here, and overall, we're still looking at a lot of green flows, especially on the north side of town. If you travel on I-17, Carefree Highway, Loop 303, all clear, even making your way up through Anthem and heading up to High Country, all green flows right now. But let's talk about I-17. If you travel southbound between Loop 101, down through the stack, around the Durango curve, and over to the split, it'll take you 22 minutes to go 20 miles. West side of town, all looking clear as well. Loop 101, Grand Avenue, even the 51 looks nice. Loop 202, South Mountain, no delays. If you're traveling on I-10 in the eastbound direction between Loop 303 over to the mini stack, 20 minutes to go 23 miles there. East Valley, quiet conditions as well. US 60, another desert drive time. Going westbound between the 202 to I-10 will take 15 minutes to go 17 miles. Take a look at our ADOT camera. This is showing you what Loop 202 looks like. Basically, as you're traveling anywhere on the east side of town there, but especially closer to Greenfield. And right now we're looking at not only great conditions, but also a great sunrise.
We love those great sunrises, don't we, Chelsea? Thanks. Hey, let's talk about that most accurate forecast, because this morning's sunrise looking different than the last few mornings, as we aren't starting out with all that cloud cover that we saw the last couple days. This time lapse from the last 6 hours shows you kind of what's been happening overnight, and you can see the camera will give us that better perspective in real time too. As you look at radar, you're seeing that we saw some showers to our east, still tracking some of those, a few thunderstorms popping well to our south, but not a whole lot of action here in the valley. And so as a result, we're waking up to mostly clear conditions, and our South Mountain camera showing you that as well. At this hour, all dry across the Phoenix area. Again, still tracking a few showers to our east out near San Carlos. Those thunderstorms that popped up near I-8 and south of Casa Grande have fizzled out as they move to the southeast. And again, just mainly eastern Arizona is where we're seeing some activity right now. Now today, you're going to step outside and you're going to notice that our monsoon moisture has increased. Now, it's at least at a moderate level. We'd love to see it a little bit higher to get that better opportunity opportunity for monsoon storms too. But today, right in that moderate range, you'll feel that humidity as we go through the day today. Here are the ingredients we need for really the better storm chances. It's moisture, it's energy, and it's heat. We've got the heat, we've got some of the moisture. The problem is we don't have a lot of that energy to get the air rising and those thunderstorms going, at least not today. Now, that's not to say we're in the clear. There is a 10% chance for thunderstorms today because storms will develop in our surrounding areas. They could send some outflow winds our way, and that would give the air the boost it needs to get those thunderstorms going. Tomorrow, though, we've got a disturbance that I think is going to enhance that storm potential. And so you're going to notice that those storm chances go even higher tomorrow and through the end of the week. So as you look at futurecast, watch for scattered thunderstorms over the higher terrain north and east of the valley. You'll notice those clouds billowing up in our surrounding mountain areas. There is that 10% chance for storms here in the Phoenix area, but much of the activity will be confined to the rim, southeast Arizona, and the White Mountains. But then tomorrow, those storm chances are going up into that scattered range, and they're going to stay in that scattered range on Friday as well, with a slight chance for storms on Saturday too. Then those storm chances drop a little further Sunday into Monday as we lose a little bit of that monsoon moisture. Our temperature this morning down to 88 degrees. Thanks to those clear skies, we've gotten a little bit cooler. Today, though, still going to be a hot day, so be mindful of the heat. We'll be into the hundreds by lunchtime, then our high reaches 107 with that 10% chance for storms. Across the East Valley, that temperature hits 106 in Apache Junction, 107 in Tempe, and the West Valley will see very similar temperatures, with those temperatures topping out right around 106 to 107 degrees here this afternoon. Across the state, some hotter spots in northwest Arizona near 110 in Bullhead City and Lake Havasu. After today, though, as that monsoon moisture and those storm chances go up, temperatures are falling, low hundreds through the weekend.
Iris, thank you. For those essential workers on the front lines, the risk of contracting COVID-19 is high. And new this morning, one Valley doctor revealing her entire family got sick with the coronavirus. ABC 15's Mark Thompson joining us live from home this morning. And Mark, that doctor still able to help patients while recovering. That's amazing.
Yeah, indeed she is, Nick. Good morning to you. Dr. Janice Johnson is the medical director and co-founder of Redirect Health. Now, she doesn't know exactly where they contracted it from in the first place, but she, along with her husband and her daughter, all tested positive for COVID-19. Now, back in May, Dr. Johnston, she's been out there at the very front lines testing and working to raise awareness about COVID-19. One day, she showed some slight symptoms, and then her daughter did as well, and the entire family then came back and tested positive. Dr. Johnston and her daughter, they never became extremely ill, but it was a much different story for her husband.
For my husband, he was, fever of 104 and shaking and the shortness of breath, the cough, the difficulty with breathing and all of that. And, because I'm a physician, but not only because I'm a physician, but just having the ability to monitor vitals at home, I think is important for people to be prepared for.
Yeah, and Dr. Johnson says that her experience shows how the virus affects people differently. She stresses that if a family member is ill, they should isolate as much as possible, stay in a bedroom and use their own bathroom if possible. You should wear a mask around them, give them some good and cleaning supplies, and keep recycling those supplies, making sure that they are fresh and clean. And this is one that a lot of people don't think about. Also, make sure that your pets are isolated from a patient who may have the coronavirus, because the virus could get in the fur and then that fur be transferred and spread all around the house. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Back to you.
Good tip there, Mark. Thank you very much. If you're running out of ideas to keep your kids engaged right now, maybe they're going, I'm bored. Well, the city of Phoenix is offering some free help. Phoenix Plays at Home is a 1-hour activity class offered every Wednesday with a different theme, all to get families moving together.
And they guide you through activities. So they have things like scavenger hunts online. They have arts and craft projects that they're doing. They have Simon Says.
Simon Says to do 5 jumping jacks. 5 jumping jacks. Ready? Go.
Okay, so maybe it's one way to help your kids earn some more screen time, right? Each class is free, and we have included a link to register with this story. It's up now at abc15.com/rebound.
Well, coming up, it could happen to you. Why millions of credit card customers are finding the days of easy credit disappearing as their credit cards reduce their spending limits.
Plus, some hope for you this morning and our future. Communities dealing with more than just the pandemic. Only here on ABC 15 Morning, how this Valley teenager is on a selfless mission to give back. Well, if you get a letter from your bank, don't be so quick to toss it out. It might have something to do with a change to your credit card limit.
Erin Johnson almost didn't read this letter, informing her that her credit card limit was being cut from $7,000 to just $3,000.
Effective immediately with no notice, my credit limit was decreased.
Her card instantly maxed out.
Took me from a roughly 40% utilization on that card to 100%. And there was really no explanation as far as why.
She was upset her credit score might take a hit.
I was amazed by how many people were telling my story on their social media just repetitively.
A report by MarketWatch.com says unused credit lines are a major risk to banks during a financial crisis. Many issuers are cutting credit limits to most consumers. Erin says she's been with the same bank 15 years, has never missed a payment, and is very disappointed.
I've been working on my credit for quite some time.
And it turns out banks across the nation are lowering credit limits, all to protect themselves during this pandemic. And if your limit is lowered, you can always try to appeal that decision.
Amazon is expanding testing of its delivery robot, Scout. A 6-wheeled robot has been on the road in 2 locations since January of last year, dropping off orders. But Amazon now says it's being tested in Atlanta and also the town of Franklin, Tennessee. No word yet on when Scout's testing will be finished or if Scout will be expanded to more cities like Phoenix.
Pretty cute, though, isn't it? It's 6:26, and up next at 6:30, washing your hands to stop the spread of germs. It's something we all need to do consistently, right, to slow the pandemic, but some communities are in dire need of help. We're going to share how one Valley teenager is making it her mission to get hand washing stations to the Navajo Nation.
Plus, breaking overnight, a Chinese consulate shut down in China, vowing retaliation. The move comes as political tensions between the world's 2 largest economies continue to escalate.